to Edulution 2.0. Edulution was originally created as an answer to the COVID-19 pandemic, when the world went remote and students lost their opportunity to be in the classroom. To help prevent students from falling behind, Edulution filled the gap for those who didn't have Wi-Fi or technology. Edulution has supported the community for over 2 years, filling the educational divide through equity and access, ensuring that all students have a fair chance to learn and succeed in life. Our host is Ms. Pia Rosa, a Bronx-born and raised educator with a heart for her community. Let's start the show.
Welcome to Edulution. We are Bronx Strong.
Hello, everyone. It's Ms. Torres here. Welcome back to CRE with Ms. Torres, coming to you live from my house. Yes, we are still home, but that's okay because we are home and we are safe and we are still learning and we are still rocking. All right, guys. So, you know that in CRE, we talk about things that have to do with culture, things that have to do with you and how unique you are and how special you are, and things that have to do with the world around us, right? Because all of those things are cultural. Who we are, where we're from, the things we like, the things we do, how we feel on the inside about ourselves, all of that has to do with culture. And that's what we came here to do today. So, we're going to talk a little bit about food today. Now, we can talk about food all day long, boys and girls. I mean, food is just one of those things that makes Ms. Torres happy. I love food, and I'm sure you do too. I can think of my favorite dishes. I can think of some favorite restaurants. I can think of the best food I've ever eaten or the worst food I ever ate, and I probably will never eat again. But food, yeah, food, believe it or not, has a lot to do with culture. So we're going to explore that today. And really just a teensy part of food and culture. Because like I said, it's such a broad topic, but we're going to see if we can just break it down today and focus on one thing. And I think what we're going to focus on today, you're going to enjoy and be like, what? I did not know that, Mr. Torrance. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to present my screen so you can see my slides. Okay, and we're going to get started. So here we are, food and culture with Miss Torres, CRE. There's my Bitmoji. I think I need to update her because my hair is growing in this pandemic and it is not that short anymore. So I think we got to update the Bitmoji. But either way, let's go. Okay. So in this lesson, we will explore how culture plays a role in the type of food we eat, how we eat, and the customs and behaviors of how we eat as a family. That's a lot, but we're going to get through it. And we're going to do it the only way we know how, by talking, discussing, and looking at some visuals. So we're going to start with this one today. This poster is called We All Eat. And in this photo, you will see different children from different cultural backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, and they are all doing the same thing. They are eating, right? What I love about this poster is the different foods they're eating, how they're eating, and really their faces. I don't know, most of them look like they're really enjoying their food. And I feel like when you eat something, you should be happy while you're eating it. You should feel some enjoyment while you're doing it. So I love this picture. We're going to start with this little boy right here. He is eating with chopsticks. Okay. Chopsticks are like the two wooden sticks that you can use. Many cultures in Asia use chopsticks to eat rice or sushi. They can probably eat almost anything with chopsticks. Me personally, I am not that good with eating with chopsticks. I am not the greatest. So, to save myself from some embarrassment, I will use a fork to eat. Um, Couple more pictures I like. I love in these two photos, you see the girls eating with their hands. In many countries around the world, it is perfectly acceptable to eat with your hands, right? Now, you may think, of course, we eat with our hands. We eat chicken nuggets with our hands. We might eat pizza with our hands. But no, in different places around the world, people will eat with their hands anything that is served in front of them. They may eat rice, they may eat chicken, they may eat pasta with their hands. So that's another cultural aspect of food, how you eat your food. Moving along. Oh, look at this. Her little tongue is out. She is enjoying this. I see boys and girls who may be eating at school. I can tell by the lunch trays, right? Here she looks like she's eating at school as well. And then it looks like some of the boys and girls may be feasting at home. Yum. Look at that. She's got a big table, a big spread. It looks like she's eating at home. You may see that in the photos. Um, this little girl may be eating outside, just looking at the background. Okay. So eating can be done anywhere, at any time, and anything goes, right? If it's yummy and it's delicious and your family makes it, then why not eat it? And what's cool about food is that what you may think is something that you cannot eat in other parts of the world, it might be a delicacy, right? That's a fancy word for kind of unusual foods, right? Such as caviar. Caviar is a delicacy, it's fish eggs. Again, me personally, this is my opinion. I would not eat caviar. I've tasted it. It wasn't my favorite. But the point is, I tasted it, right? And that's what we should always do, taste the food that's in front of us. At least try it once. You never know if you'll like it. Okay. So, food is an important part of cultural heritage and national identity. It can connect us to people and places and bring friends and families together. Okay, so here's my little culture flower that I love so much. And you see the arrow is pointing to food. And just like it says, food can bring people together, friends and family. Think about when you're eating dinner. Some families may eat dinner together at the table. Some may sit on the couch and hold bowls in their hand and eat and talk and watch TV. Regardless of how you do it, it brings a sense of togetherness. It brings a sense of joy. Like this is something we do together. This is something we always do. Maybe you go to a restaurant every Friday. And I know some of you, maybe on Fridays, it's like a fun Friday and you have pizza or McDonald's, or maybe Tuesdays you have tacos. Whatever it is, um, all those things just bring people together. And a lot of food and a lot of dishes really bring cultural heritage. You may only be able to find a certain dish when you go to a certain place around the world, a certain country. What I love about living in New York and living in the United States is that we are what's called a melting pot, right? And that just means that there's so many people of different national backgrounds, cultures, people who have migrated from different parts that were born here, but their grandparents were born in a different country. And they still keep those traditional dishes, right? They still keep them as part of their everyday meals. And I love that. I know that my family does that. Being from Puerto Rico, we still cook special dishes from Puerto Rico, and we cook them on a daily basis. And sometimes around the holidays, we may cook those special dishes that really remind us of being back home in Puerto Rico and sitting in my grandma's living room and smelling all the wonderful things coming from her kitchen. And that's what food does, right? Food can also bring us memories and feelings in our heart. So, food is a pretty cool thing, guys. Okay. Now, when we talk about eating food, right? Eating food with family may look the same or different in homes around the world, and even in homes, maybe your neighbor's house. Many families have rules or customs they follow before, during, or after eating. Hmm. So, what does that mean, different customs? What do you mean? What do people do? So, think about it. Maybe before having dinner, maybe the children in the family set the table. That can be their job, that can be of their everyday routine. Some families choose to pray before they eat the food, right? And they pray as a family. They may take turns to say who's going to do the prayer. In many cultures, we wait for everyone to sit down and eat before we start eating. I used to do that in school a lot. If we ever had like a birthday party, I used to tell the boys and girls, okay, no one can eat or touch their food or cupcakes until everyone has, because we eat like a family. And I only said that because that was one of the things that I had to do growing up, right? Though that was a rule that I had to follow. We eat together as a family. We eat when everyone sits down. We eat when mom or dad finish serving, and we wait. Like, just to show like respect, and just to have that, togetherness, everyone taking their first bite together. Um, Passing food around, right? Having big bowls and plates on the table, and you pass dishes around. Or maybe mom serves everybody and you go up to her with your plate. It looks different in every home, boys and girls. And that's okay. It's something to think about. Sometimes you do these routines every single day, but do you even realize that you're doing them? Who washes the dishes? Does dad wash if mom cooks? Or does mom wash if dad cooks? Who's always cooking in the house? Is it grandma? Are you having dinner early at 4 o'clock? Or are you having dinner at 7 or 8, right? These are all things to think about when you think about food, right? And these are cultural things. These are customs that your family are used to doing. Although it may seem like, well, it's just what we do, Miss Torres. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal, because what you learn now as a child, you may end up doing those things when you are an adult and you have your own families. So, something to think about. Okay. So I wanted to focus on what I think is food that is really common and most people know about. And I wanted to talk about rice, right? Rice was first cultivated thousands of years ago in Asia, right? Rice didn't start in the United States, boys and girls. It started far, far east in Asia. It is one of the oldest harvested crops known to man. So when you think about the first kind of food that people were able to harvest and grow and learn about, and the seeds and the grains and all those things and how they can make this, it was rice. Who knew? Rice is one of those staple foods or dishes that are cover most of the world's populations. And what that just means is that most countries, many people have rice as one of their main meals, as a big dish. Okay. So, what I want to show you is I want to show you a video. In the video, it shows us 16 rice dishes from around the world. And I think it's pretty interesting. I want to know, I'm curious to see if you see a rice dish that your parents cook at home or that you've eaten. Okay. So I'm excited to share this video with you. Here we go. Let's get started. 16 rice dishes around the world.
Over 3.5 billion people from around the world eat rice as a staple part of their diet, and we can only show some of the beloved rice dishes that exist. Let's take a look at how rice is eaten around the world. This dish stirs up a debate out of love. Jollof rice is a dish from West Africa that varies from country to country. It's popular in Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, and many others. Most jollof rice dishes include tomatoes, onions, and peppers. Choices of protein can vary from lamb to chicken, beef, or fish. Jollof rice can be served with sides, like fried plantains or vegetables. Nasi goreng is Indonesia's national dish and translates simply to fried rice. It's believed to have been introduced when Chinese immigrants made their way to Indonesia sometime between the 10th and 15th centuries. Nasi goreng is made with an abundance of spices, garlic, shallot, and a sweet soy sauce called kecap manis. Meat, vegetables, and eggs can also be added in. Some accompaniments include fried prawn crackers, salad, or sambal, an Indonesian chili sauce. In Spanish cuisine, paella is a must-try rice dish. It originated in Valencia and is best cooked in a paella pan over an open fire. Traditionally, it was made by farm laborers during lunch and eaten straight from the pan. The meats and vegetables used in this dish varied based on whatever was available at the time. Nowadays, there are plenty of variations with meat and seafood. Essential ingredients are onions, garlic, and saffron for a deep yellow stain. This creamy rice dish is an Italian staple. Arborio or carnaroli rice is the best type of grain to use. The rice is cooked with broth, butter, onions, wine, and Parmesan cheese. Some may argue that risotto is time-consuming and requires a lot of attention when cooking. But once you get a hang of the technique, the dish can be ready in as little as 30 minutes. Cam tam, also known as broken rice, is a Vietnamese dish with humble beginnings. The grains used in cam tam are considered to be broken leftovers from the drying and milling process. Traditionally, farmers from the Mekong Delta would cook the unsellable grains. Eventually, they introduced the dish to the city of Saigon, which is now known as Ho Chi Minh City. Cam tam is served with a variety of sides, like shredded pork, eggs, and pickled vegetables. This rice entree comes from the city of Yangzhou in China's Jiangxi province. Some may know the dish as house fried rice. It's made of rice tossed with roast pork, shrimp, scallions, eggs, and peas inside of a wok. The best type of rice to use is leftover cooked rice. Chinese restaurants worldwide have kept this dish a staple menu item. India's biryani rice is a fusion of spices. The word biryani derives from the Persian word biryan and means fried before cooking. A long grain rice, such as basmati, is fried and cooked with meat, vegetables, eggs, nuts, and fruits. Depending on the region, there are countless variations and cooking methods of biryani. Puerto Rico's rice dish is also considered the island's national dish. Arroz con gandules is rice cooked with pigeon peas, pork, and sofrito sauce. It's usually served during holidays and special occasions. Jamaican rice and peas uses pigeon peas or kidney beans. Long grain rice is cooked with coconut milk, garlic, scallions, pepper, and allspice. Rice and peas is commonly served in households every Sunday. It's usually served as a side dish along with curries or jerk and barbecue chicken. Using similar ingredients like pigeon peas and coconut milk, Trinidad and Tobago's rice dish is called pilau. Trinidadians use a technique called browning the meat by adding meat to burnt sugar in a pot with onions and garlic before adding the rice and other ingredients. For extra flavor, a key ingredient to add near the end of cooking would be Golden Ray salted butter. The final product can be served wet, meaning it's on the soupier side, or dry, on the grainy side. Korean bibimbap translates to mixed rice with meat and vegetables. Traditionally, it was made with raw beef and raw egg yolk. Today, many variations exist based on choice. White rice is served with side dishes like kimchi, onions, eggs, mushrooms, and so on. Bibimbap is served with gochujang sauce for extra flavor. When visiting Louisiana, you must add jambalaya to your food bucket list. The one-pot dish is a staple in New Orleans and can be categorized into two types, Creole and Cajun. The Creole version is redder and uses tomatoes. In both versions, long grain rice is cooked with a mix of meats. Some popular choices are seafood, chicken, or sausage. Some variations include all three. Vegetables, onions, spices, and peppers are also mixed in. This rice dish is sweet. Champorado is a chocolate porridge made with glutinous sweet rice. Traditionally, tablaya or pure cocoa blocks are used, but cocoa powder makes a great substitution. In the Philippines, the porridge is commonly eaten for breakfast and served alongside toyo, a salted dried fish. It's topped with sweetened condensed milk, evaporated milk, or coconut milk. Tadig is basically scorched rice. It's made from the pan-fried layer of crust at the bottom of the rice pot. Many years ago, rice was a luxury ingredient in Persia. According to legend, a single grain of rice should not go wasted or left in the pot. To achieve this, cooks would layer the bottom of the pot with bread to prevent the rice from burning. Other techniques use a mixture of rice, yogurt, and saffron, or thin slices of peeled potatoes. Whichever ingredients you choose to place beneath the rice, the end result will be a golden, crispy layer at the bottom of the pot. Munsaf is Jordan's national dish. It consists of rice and lamb cooked in a sauce called jamid, which is a fermented dried yogurt. The dish is served on a platter in layers with a base of flatbread. Rice, jamid, lamb, almonds, and pine nuts are layered on top. These Japanese rice balls are called onigiri. Steamed rice is formed into shapes like balls, triangles, or cylinders. It's then wrapped in nori, dried seaweed. Onigiri can be eaten plain or stuffed with fillings like salmon or vegetables. It makes a perfect snack for on the go. What's your favorite dish? Will you be trying any of these in our video? Let us know in the comments below.
That was amazing and got me super hungry. I don't know about you. But wow, who knew that rice could be made in so many different ways? What I love about that video is that they talked about where the rice is eaten, the culture, and some of the spices that are used. So you take something like white rice and you can change it into so many things by just using spices and vegetables and meats and anything that you want, stocks, anything like that can just change rice. I love that. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so just to recap, here are a few rice dishes. I have actually had all of these rice dishes, and that's why I'm showing you them again. This one wasn't mentioned, mandi, but this is traditionally eaten. It's rice from Yemen. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And it's served with chicken, and it has a lot of flavor in the rice with a lot of different seasonings. This is rice with pigeon peas, or sometimes people say rice with gandules. We actually saw rice like this. Now, they said it comes from Puerto Rico, but this is more of a Caribbean rice. I mean, any place in the Caribbean that you travel to, you can go to Puerto Rico, you can go to the Dominican Republic, you can probably get this rice in Cuba, and you can also see variations of this rice in Jamaica and in other parts of the Caribbean. So rice with pigeon peas is a staple. Here's risotto again. Okay, and that comes from Italy, right? Fried rice. Okay, I know that a lot of boys and girls have mentioned to me before that they love fried rice, and they love when their parents order fried rice from the restaurants. And then you have your white rice, and you even have brown rice. Now, they say brown rice is healthier because it has like less starch. It really is preference, right? It really is the taste and what you like and what your family cooks at home. So rice is just one of those things that is a staple. And now we know so many ways to cook rice and so many what do you call it? Different recipes from all around the world. Okay, guys, so we saw that interesting video about rice. We talked about the way boys and girls eat. We talked about different customs and traditions, why food can be so important to families and the traditions that they hold. We talked about the traditions and customs in your home. So I hope that this lesson gives you something to think about, right? Pay attention. Who's cooking at home and what are they cooking? I would ask, is this something that you learned how to cook here in the United States? Is this a traditional dish from where we come from? Um, and I'm curious to see and to know what are the stories behind the dishes that your families make. And that's one of the things I love about culture because remember, we said that it brings families together. So if you're curious, if you ask questions about the food you eat and who's cooked them, how did you learn this dish, you will be pleasantly surprised to learn about some cultural background and history about the food that you eat at home with your family. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. We will have more lessons about culture and how they affect different parts of our lives. Be safe, boys and girls.
We've enjoyed your company so much today. See you at another time on another episode of Edulution.